Alright, so in this YouTube video, I'm going to be breaking down how I was able to make right around $275,000 worth of profit last year, making these quote unquote fuck it YouTube videos. Now, if you're either in info, right, you sell your info product, it doesn't matter if it's through Instagram, TikTok, through LinkedIn, through ads, whatever it could be, you're definitely aware of competition and you've definitely seen some of your competitors posting videos like this. Or if you're just in any of these business opportunities like Shopify, e-commerce, day trading, Amazon FBA, you're doing any online business, you're also aware of the gurus in your niche who speak about these business models. And you've also definitely seen these gurus making videos like this. And it's been more and more over the past few months. It's been going on for the past 2 years, but over the past few months, it's really started to pick up with more and more people doing it. And this is because we're in a trust recession right now. There's so many people getting scammed by bad info products. There's so many people, who are getting scammed and then telling their friends and going on social media, and there's less and less trust within the market every single month. And these YouTube videos, these micro niche YouTube videos, go against everything else that we've been seeing in the market. Because instead of us posting a 60-second Instagram short in front of a Lamborghini to try and shill our course, we're posting real breakdown videos with real value and depth inside of them. And once viewers consume enough of these 20 to 40-minute videos, they know, like, and trust us enough to the point where they can jump on a sales call and we can close them for 4 to 5 figures within literally just 30 to 60 minutes because they're so nurtured and they already know so much about our mechanism, right? In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how you can make YouTube videos like this to sell your info product, or even just in general, if you want to build your personal brand and you don't want a broad personal brand, you want a niche personal brand, a few thousand subscribers, even a few hundred subscribers, which you can generate hundreds of thousands of dollars from, then this is going to be the video for you. And now you're probably asking yourself, okay, obviously this has kind of worked for you. I'm speaking about 275K, but how well does this work for a normal business opportunity offer? I want to give you guys a quick example. So around a month ago, I'd actually say around a month and a half ago, I started working with this guy called Harley Hemings, and he was really in a big decline with his info offer. I have his WAP pulled up right here. In October, he only made around $3.3 thousand. If I go to the month of November, I think he made six. Yeah, he made around $6.3 thousand, but he was genuinely in a big decline with his info business. And let me just prove that these numbers are real before anybody asks. Yeah, so he was really in a big decline with his info business. He was stuck between anywhere $3,000 to $6,000 per month. And he came to me after seeing a few of my YouTube videos speaking about this exact micro niche approach, and he wanted to implement it for himself. So he paid me, we got on a call, he paid me, and we implemented the approach within 2 weeks, started this micro niche YouTube channel up. We started averaging not 10,000 views, not 100,000 views, but literally just like 1 to 3,000 views per video. We started around here, so exactly a month ago now. And a result of this was in January of 2026, we generated $33,950 just on WAP, and including crypto and bank transfers, we made right around $40,000 cash collected within the first month of testing this. Now, let me just refresh this so that you guys know that this isn't fake. And just to be completely honest, he did have an Instagram account on top of this. But again, he had that Instagram account and it was only making him $3,000 to $6,000 per month. It was only when we implemented this micro niche YouTube channel when we were really able to scale the entire operation. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking this down. I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can do this for yourself. So how do you make these videos, right? The point that I've been repeating in this intro for the past probably 2 minutes. Well, you do this by creating a quote unquote pattern interrupt. Now, just take a look at these 9 arrows over here. Which arrow stands out to you specifically? Well, it's going to be this red one, right? But why is it different? Well, obviously, it's going in the opposite direction, and it also has a different color. And this is exactly how trends are made. People look at the market, they analyze the market, and they look at data, they look at the niche, and they look at the ICP, and they try and create their own brand new YouTube ideas. And once they create them, the quote unquote prototype to test, where you either have a video that completely flops or it gets millions of views or is a massive outlier by your YouTube standards. Once this happens, people start copying it, and it kind of becomes less of an outlier until it doesn't work as well anymore, right? But copying these videos is the most effective way to actually scale your YouTube channel, because at the end of the day, if you're starting out on YouTube, unless you've been doing it for years, you're probably not going to be able to create your own original ideas, which are just naturally going to do well on YouTube. What you want to do is you want to find these videos. But if you have a video that popped off a year ago and you had some guys copy it, and let's say these guys that copied it, these guys that copied it got recognized in the market, and they got copied again, and they got copied again, and you were this last guy at the very end, right? Let's say you're Ty Lopez over here, and this video has been copied hundreds of times, and then you copied after them. It's just not going to work. It's not going to get views. That's the way that it is. So you need to figure out how you can copy these videos in the right way. And there's a right and wrong way to do this, as with every single thing that you're going to have when you're scaling your business, right? So the wrong way of doing this, right, is being Ty Lopez over here. Obviously, Ty Lopez didn't do anything in this situation. It's just for the sake of the example, right? So we have the highest performing video in our niche, and we look at it, right? It's Iman's video over here, and we do no research. We don't really look too much at our ideal customer. We don't look on our niche, what's working right now in our niche, and we don't differentiate. We literally just make a one-on-one of the other video, but we're slapping our face on it instead of Iman's over here. And what this creates for us is a 5K per month flywheel. You're only going to be making 5K per month. This is exactly what Harley had before, right? Back in October and November, like we were looking at, 3 to 6K per month. He was simply copying low quality content, right? He had a low quality market research. From his low quality market research, he didn't spend enough time. He was just looking at the biggest outliers that have been copied hundreds of times, putting them out there and thinking he'd get a different result than everybody else in the market, and created underperforming videos. And you guessed it, this is going to result in inconsistent cash flow. And unfortunately, most of the coaches who I've spoken to, including myself, have fallen for this exact trap right here. And most of them don't get out of it until they properly differentiate themselves from the rest of the competition. Because the second that you differentiate yourself from the rest of the competition is going to be the exact same second that you attract your qualified ICP, stand out from the rest of the market, and create consistent cash flow for your business. And the way that I like to do this is by creating data-driven remixes. See, when you're creating data-driven remixes, you're still able to benefit from your main competitor's work of finding this outlier for the first time, right? Putting in a bunch of work and energy to do it. And you're simply able to copy it off of them by creating this system right here, which properly allows you to differentiate yourself from them while keeping the same title and thumbnail, right? So here's the way that I want you to think about this to begin with in terms of competitors copying each other. The first person at the very top who's able to copy an idea is going to have to put the most amount of effort in, and is also going to is also going to get the most amount of leads, right? Because he's the guy who did it for the first time. It's new to social media. It picks up for him the most. And the amount of effort which he's going to have to put in for this to actually work is going to be exponential, right? The first person to copy him, though, the first person to just rip off of his idea and copy him is going to put exponentially less work in, right? Because this guy, Iman on top, he had to figure out, why would this thumbnail work? Why does the video structure work? Why does the script work? Because nobody's ever done it before. He's inventing it for the first time. But the second guy just gets to copy him. So it's exponentially less effort. But in terms of lead flow, if this second person is able to spot this trend on top quicker than the rest of his competition, he's going to get a linear decline in lead flow. So let's say Iman at the very top gets, okay, let's say it's Iman, so it's different with this video. So right here, let's say in a standard video, right, which one of your competitors post. Let's say, for the sake of the example, this person is going to get 1,000 leads out of this video. But if you're the first person who copies this person, right, you might get 700, right? If you're able to differentiate yourself and still copy him, you're probably going to get 700 leads. However, this person at the very top probably put 50 hours into creating this YouTube video, and you're going to do it by creating 5, right? So obviously there is going to be a massive discrepancy between effort and lead flow. So you want to optimize for being the second person, right? You don't want to be figuring out what videos are going to work. That's way too much time and effort. What you want to be doing is being the person who's able to spot these trends before anybody else and still reap the rewards in terms of lead flow, right? So how do you do this? Well, the first step of this process is figuring out how you can actually find these outliers. And then you need to figure out how you can actually differentiate yourself from them. So in terms of finding outliers, it's very simple. You need to build yourself a list of multiple different YouTube channels which do micro niche videos, which might not even be in the same niche as you, but you might be doing ecom. They might have a day trading offer, but you're both speaking about similar topics in the same niche. Let's say, for example, you're both speaking about time management concepts. Time management concepts don't change no matter what niche you're in, right? How you optimize your workflow, how you optimize your day, that never changes. Video ideas like this never change, and you can always copy this from your competition. I'll give you an example. Because obviously I run this for my YouTube channel, and this YouTube channel that you're watching right here makes me $50,000 a month because I've optimized for every single detail by reviewing all of the competition. I know everybody who creates micro niche YouTube channels like this, and my report's way bigger than this. Obviously, I don't want to give away this massive, I guess you could kind of say, micro niche YouTube channel list away for free. I give this to my clients in my consulting offer that I work one-on-one with to implement the micro niche YouTube strategy. However, this just to give you an example, right? Let's say over here, this strategy is essentially just looking at these channels and seeing what is their baseline of views, right? Let's say usually they're averaging around 500 views per video. And what you want to do is constantly check in on their channel. And the second that you see that a video gets more views than usual on their channel, because they're going to have a baseline, let's say, for example, they get 500 views per video, but one video got 5,000 views, you want to be the first person who's going to spot that trend and replicate it for yourself, right? Let's do an example. So let's say this guy over here, right? Let's say Andrew, because I've already looked at him in my last video. He has a baseline, just to go through it, 17,000, 11,000, 12,000, 13,000. So let's say, all right, up here, let's say 15, 34, 38, 10. So baseline, let's say 10 to 20,000 views per video, just average. You don't need an exact number, but you just need an average. But then when we see this video over here, 131,000 views, this is a clear outlier. This is a 10x outlier. He usually gets 10 to 20,000 views, but this video got 100,000 views. That's a 10x, right? And the second you see this, if you were the person 3 months ago who saw this, who saw the fact that probably in the first 24 hours, this video had more views than these videos got in months, you were the first person to replicate that, you would have reaped massive rewards because he put the work in to actually find this outlier. You copied him, get similar reviews, and are going to get a similar lead count too. That's what it's going to come down to. Let me give you an example. If I see on this channel that has less than 10,000 subscribers, by the way, for micro niche channels, focus on channels with less than 10,000 subscribers. So let's say I see a channel that has less than 10,000 subscribers and it has an outlier, right? Because obviously I was tracking it. I saw this guy 2.8x outlier. I can take a similar video to this, copy it for myself, and create an outlier for myself. Let's say, for example, this video here that I did 3 months ago based around a similar concept, 2.6x outlier, or this video right here, 1.6x outlier, simply because I was one of the first people inside of my market versus the rest of my competition to find this outlier and implement it for myself early enough to the point where I didn't have to do as much work as the guy I'm copying from, but I'm still able to reap very similar reward. Now, the second that you understand which videos you want to be copying from your competition, you now need to be able to differentiate yourself. And this is going to be through trends. Now, before you're actually able to identify this outlier, let's start with that. Before you're able to confirm that this video is going to do well for a fact, you need to find a similar concept from 3 YouTube channels. Now, if you're in a very specific niche, I would say 2 YouTube channels, just 2 different people did it. It worked well. At that point, you can copy it. But if it's only been one person who's posted this video and it did well, it may have been a one-hit wonder, right? Now, obviously, if you still think that that video is going to do well, you can still copy it if you've only seen one video in the market. However, if you really just want it guaranteed, then 2 to 3 videos is pretty much guaranteed that it's going to do well. Now, how do you differentiate yourself and create winning elements which are different to your competition? Now, in terms of differentiation, let's say this guy's brand right here. He's going to have different values, different ways of explaining, a different unique mechanism to me, right? And he's going to explain it in his own way. But now I need to transition his ideas into my one-of-one brand, right? Let's say, for example, he's speaking about the Instagram profile funnel. I'm speaking about the Microniche YouTube funnel, because at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is going to be the title and the thumbnail. I need the title and the thumbnail for my video to get views, and then it's up to me when they click on the video to keep the viewers by actually giving them good value. That's what it's going to come down to. And obviously, just creating my own video style. I don't want to copy his personality. I don't need to copy his personality. All I need to have similar is going to be the title and the thumbnail. And then I need to create winning elements to my YouTube videos. I need to figure out what did he do well specifically, and how do I copy it for my own title and thumbnail. Let's say, for example, here, 500K per month profit. Okay, maybe profit and copy me is what I need to be able to copy, right? 500K profit, obviously I'm not French, but I think this is per year. And so I ripped a similar format, right? You can see profit, all big, in brackets, profit, all big in brackets. And this is due to me seeing that this was an outlier, and this was probably a winning element to this video doing well. Maybe he specifically did something in the intro that I noticed that I can put into my own video too. And you need to figure this out, because the more winning elements that you figure out, the more reasons that you think that video specifically did well and you can copy for yourself, the better the video is effectively going to do. And this can be down to the title, the thumbnail, the hook, or even just the approach that they're taking inside of the video. And the outcome of this is going to be that you're going to create videos that are going to do well and are going to be massive outliers consistently, right? And in order to track this, get long-term success out of it, essentially what you need to do is systematize the process. So if we really systematize it, what does this look like? We have how to explain videos, which are going to be blue ocean videos, let's say, for example, right? There's YouTubers that are creating videos that are going to be very broad videos, right? For example, top 10 skills to make 10K per month, just an example. If you see that video is doing extremely well, you can still take it over into your niche, right? Even if this guy had a super broad video, but I saw different winning elements to it. Let's say, for example, I saw that the video didn't just do well because of the title and the thumbnail, but it actually did really well because he had a very specific hook inside of it. And that's why I think it did well. I can still take those winning elements, tailor it to my ideal client profile, and recreate that concept in order for it to do well for my channel specifically. And the second thing is radicality. You don't want to be the same as your competition. You need to differentiate yourself from the competition. You're the videos themselves. You need to differentiate yourself, because if you're copying the videos, you're copying the titles, you're copying the thumbnails, you effectively become a commodity. The second you become a commodity is the second you stop making money, right? So what you need to do is simply find the titles, find the thumbnails that these guys are doing, copy them for yourself, and take a radical angle to the YouTube videos. And that way, you're actually going to be able to get good views inside of your channel, and not just good views, but get quality views that are actually going to buy from you, because we're speaking about specific topics. And for you to effectively do this over and over and over again, you need to track the data and figure out what consistently does well in your channel for long-term success. Now, what I recommend for tracking in terms of just video performance for the videos that you try and get views on, which still need to be micro niche. So we're not trying to get views here. Don't get me wrong. All we're trying to do is create quality views, right? We're trying to get views in a very specific niche, and we want to see what works well for that specific niche. So to do this, we can be tracking impressions, the amount of outlier that it is, right? How much X outlier is this? The thumbnails, title, post, upload, we can change it, the average watch time, the audience retention, the click-through rate, and the average viewer duration. This is what it's really going to come down to when we're trying to create these micro niche concepts. Now, for those of you who are watching this video and you're a business owner, or, obviously you run an info business and you just really want to scale your info company up, you could have no info company, or you could have an info company that's doing less than 50K per month. If you want to implement this exact micro niche approach, down below, the first link in the description, you're going to be able to book a one-on-one call directly with me, where we're going to speak about exactly how you could implement this approach for your business specifically. Inside of my program, what we help you with is the entire process A to Z. Essentially, we're systematizing the micro niche YouTube channel creation process. We're giving you SOPs. We're giving you a VA, which you pay a few $100 a month to, who's going to create these whiteboards, optimize them for retention, and optimize them for value. Then the trust aspect, where we're going to build your entire funnel out, done for you, optimize the copy, find your ideal customer profile, which you can speak to inside of your content, and create all of the dashboards, all of the tracking, everything you need for conversion in order to actually scale your info company, same way that we did for Harley, creating these micro-niche YouTube videos. So if you're interested in that, again, first link in the description. And if you have any questions about what I spoke about in this video at all, just text me on Instagram. That's everything for this video. Peace.